Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Sydney Welch.
And I'm student meteorologist Brantley Kite.
And we have your 4 FSU for this fine Wednesday afternoon.
That's right. We have a lot to talk about coming up. But first, it was a really nice day out. It felt a lot more like fall. I mean, It was still pretty warm out there, but
the breeze really made it feel like it was fall time and not summer anymore.
Yeah, it felt a lot drier too. It wasn't as humid, so that was something that was pretty nice. It wasn't really.
And I'm sure that made you have an awesome day because of that beautiful breeze.
Yeah, exactly. But something that we're going to be watching over the next little while here is the tropics. You know, we had a nice little brief lull there where we didn't have much going on, but now things are really starting to ramp back up again pretty quickly too. Something that might affect us, so we're going to have a lot more on that coming up.
Yes, and this could affect us as soon as Sunday, so we do need to start planning preparations and whatnot in the very near future.
That's right. It's affecting our game day forecast, what we have this all this weekend and into next week. So it's definitely going to be playing a big role in what we have coming up the next few days.
Yes, it definitely is. But as for right now, we are going to send it off to Michael with a look at our overview.
Thanks, guys. Today in Tallahassee, it was 88 degrees, and we started at 69 degrees, which was our high was pretty close to our average. Low is still pretty good above our average, but we're not really near any of our records of 94 and 42. Today's high temps, again, we were 88 degrees in Tallahassee, 90 in Bainbridge. Apalachicola, we are 87 and 86 in Mariana. Tonight's forecast, we're going to cool down to about 67 degrees, partly cloudy skies. It'll be a really nice night if you have any plans, and we're going to have some light winds compared to what it was today. And our headlines are above average temperatures. We're going to have those until Friday, but starting this weekend, we're going to watch what happens to what is soon to be tropical storm, maybe Hurricane Nate. And we're going to give you more details about that in the show today. And now we're going to send it off back to the desk.
Thanks so much. Now, we do have a little bit of weather history for you guys today if you're interested in some cool stuff that happened on this day a few years ago. So for the first one, in 1987, a storm brought record snow to the northeast United States. Now, it is October, so that's super early even for the Northeast to receive snow.
Yeah, that's right. In Albany, New York, actually, where I know that you're from,
they received... I didn't even see that. This happened in Albany, New York. Yeah. Wow. It was the earliest measurable snow for 117 years on record. Wow, Albany, I have to give my friends a call and let them know that little fact.
Yeah, they haven't really been seeing anything early snow like that. They will be getting a break pretty soon, though, of the heat, and they're going to see a little bit cooler temperatures as we head into the weekend, but definitely not expecting any snow like that.
No, they are not expecting any snow.
So they're going to be getting their first taste of fall pretty soon.
They actually, the last week of September, they saw heat up in the 90s.
Oh, and that's very unusual.
Yeah, so unusual. It's the third heat wave on record for Albany, New York. So right now it's cooling off to temperatures for them to see. It's cooling off for temperatures, and they're seeing it get warmer. But we are going to take it off to Tallahassee right now. And taking a look at our local, we are seeing the temperature at 86 degrees. The dew point is hanging out around 62 degrees. So it's lowering a lot, and that goes along with that breeze and that fall weather that we've been feeling. The winds are ramping up at 14 miles an hour. So temperatures around the region, the trend is we are seeing mid-80s, low 80s in some spots like Monticello and Thomasville, 81 and 82. Tallahassee, 86, as I said, and Mariana off to the west at 86 as well. Now, taking a look at our dew points around the region, we are seeing it's mostly in the low 60s. Monticello up there at 68 and Mariana at 59. So that's the range of dew points we're seeing from 59, which is dry, to Monticello at 68, which is beginning to get up there in those dew points. Now, looking at this range, the 50 is actually, it's not dry, but it is called comfortable on this scale. But we consider that here dry because we don't see dew points in the 50s very often for this time of year. Now, the winds, we are going to see that they are coming from the northeast, and Tallahassee ramping up at 14 miles an hour. Valdosta, Albany, and Macon are also seeing high wind speeds. like that. And then, wow, Jacksonville, 21 miles an hour. So they're seeing the highest wind speed on this map. Now, looking at the satellite, we are going to see that there is some spotty showers making their way towards Tallahassee, but mostly you just see those upper level clouds, and seems like Orlando is going to be seeing some showers as well in the near future. Now, taking a look at these watches and warnings, there is going to be a small craft advisory across the entire coast definitely for the next 24 hours, and on the East Coast as well, from Savannah down to Orlando. It is making its way down the peninsula as well. You just can't see that in this. And now we are going to look at this high pressure sitting over Tupelo, Montgomery, and Atlanta, and that is what's lowering these dew points and keeping things dry to our north. Along with off the coast, this high pressure as well is going to be that clockwise motion and keeping things dry for those areas. Now, taking a look at the boating forecast, it's going to be very windy and choppy waters. As I said, small craft advisory, take caution, and high winds going on over there. So as for tonight, 67 degrees, partly cloudy. It is going to be nice and cool over there, but we are going to be sending it over to Brantley with a look at our southeast. So
all right, thank you, Sydney. Now, you did mention we had that high pressure system right over here, and that's what's been keeping things with fair weather for the last few days. We're going to see that trend continue tomorrow, but we are going to have some low pressure move in the next day or so. That's going to help bring those rain chances back up. But for currently, it's partly cloudy over most of the southeast, maybe a few rain showers there in Miami, but everywhere else is seeing partly cloudy skies with a little bit of sun there. So temperatures are pretty warm because of it, with mostly being in the low to mid 80s. Especially here along the northern Gulf Coast, 80 in New Orleans, 85 in Jackson, 86 in Tallahassee. And in Miami, they are dipping down to 79 because they have those rain showers right now. That's what's really helping cool things off for them. As you can also tell, we're under high pressure because the humidity is low. It's only 45% in Tallahassee. That's why it's feeling a lot more like fall. We are seeing even lower humidity levels in places like Tupelo and Montgomery. It's feeling very dry there, and it's going to continue feeling that way into the night and tomorrow. But over here is that low pressure system I was just talking about. That's what's going to be moving in to this area westward in the next day or so. So that's what's going to bring those rain chances back up between 20 and 40% most likely. So we have two low pressure systems. We have one over Oklahoma right now. That has a few rain showers there. Nothing too severe or heavy at the moment. And then we have another one that is a lot farther down south we were just talking about. This one's also being watched by the Hurricane Center. It has a very low chance for development into a storm at this time, but it is producing a lot of rain with it, especially over open water. So it's going to move over South Florida and then drift westward into the southeast. So we can see all this in the big picture here with our water vapor, where the orange is the drier colors here. That's because of that high pressure. And then we have the green colors here, the more damp air, and that is going to be moving again towards the west, bringing more moisture to us. So our watches and warnings, because of that low pressure system and the tropical depression we're watching, we do have some pretty rough seas out there. We have small craft advisories for the entire Gulf Coast, stretching up the eastern seaboard through the Carolinas. We also have rip current advisories and some flood warnings still hanging on down there in Miami, where they're seeing that rain. They're going to keep seeing it through the night. Our tonight's forecast, 66 degrees in Tallahassee, a little bit warmer as you head south into the mid to upper 70s. Everywhere else north of us, though, is going to be seeing tonight's temperatures in the upper 50s or into the low 60s. And then tomorrow's forecast, 88 degrees in Tallahassee, so a little bit warmer than what we saw today. They're going to be seeing some rain showers in South Florida, but everywhere else is going to be still under that high pressure, so it'll be nice and sunny. Now we're going to take it back to the desk with Sydney and Michael. Oops.
Thanks, Brantley. You were supposed to join me over on this desk, but we do have a little bit of a more serious news on this desk segment. Now, there is a football game on this Saturday, but the certainty of them playing right now is up in the air.
That's right. Miami Hurricanes are not the only hurricane threat in Tallahassee. We do have our hurricane flags up on the IM fields. So maybe it's just a bad omen right now, because our last hurricane forced this game to be rescheduled already. So we are and this is the rescheduled date for it, and we're already seeing that threat again.
So the irony of this situation now has become huge. But also, Brantley, you mentioned a low pressure system off the coast of Florida. Do you see any interaction between these two low pressures as this makes its way more north?
They're not really expecting any major interactions. It is going to bring our rain chances up a little bit here as we head into the weekend, regardless of that tropical development we have with the other system farther south. But it is going to bring the rain chances up, so definitely going to be in the moderate rain chance stage. So even if the storms, the tropical storm or depression does not affect us immediately, we could still see a rain threat from that.
Yeah, and definitely, and I totally have noticed that it has been saying windy for Saturday and Sunday, so they are super uncertain of the forecast because it really is up in the air of the timing and exact path that this potential tropical cyclone could take.
All right, now we're going to take a look at our national weather here with Tyler at the wall.
Temperatures are pretty cold across the northwestern portion of the United States. 52 degrees in Billings, Montana, 66 in Salt Lake City. The reason for that is there was a snowstorm there earlier in the week. Colder air for the plains, very warm and moist air all the way up the East Coast, where it is 74 degrees right now. In October in Boston, that's very warm for them. Water vapor shows big impulse of energy over the center portion of the country, and some dry air ahead of the tropical wave, which will interact with southern Florida tomorrow. So if you live in Miami or South Florida, you're going to have a very rainy day tomorrow. Temperatures after the snow have come up a lot over in the Intermountain West, while east of there in Kansas City and in the Midwest, they had seen temperatures drop over 20 degrees in the last 24 hours. Again, very warm air is going up the East Coast due to a high pressure system and warm air out ahead of that cold front. Here is that cold front located right around Detroit, down through the Chicago metropolitan area in Kansas City. South of there, we have a conveyor belt of some moisture in Florida, as well as some rain and pop-up thunderstorms, the low pressure center near Lubbock, Texas. Let's take a closer look, and here in Oklahoma, near Miami and Tulsa, we have a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity, widely scattered in nature. As we go further down to the southeast, this tropical wave will go to the west and may become a big player with regards to the future track of Tropical Depression 16. Watch us warning and advisories. Really, there isn't much except for these sort of small craft advisories, and as a result, the airport delays are very, very minimal at this time. But now we're going to send it to a desk with Sydney.
Well, you got Brantley here too. We're going to be talking a little bit now about this tropical system we could have moving in this direction over the next few days.
Yeah, and some preparations that should begin to take place soon. I know that it does feel like just yesterday that we were preparing for Irma, but this is important that everyone stocks up on water and makes sure that they have non-perishables in their house.
That's right. I mean, even if it's a weaker storm than what we've been seeing with the last few hurricanes, it's very important that that you have enough water to last you for 3 days. You need a gallon per person per day. Like you said, non-perishable foods, gas for your car, and also medications too, because a lot of pharmacies won't be able to open without power.
Yeah. Now, it is a potential tropical storm, so we won't be seeing what we expected from Irma, but it is definitely important to be over-prepared rather than under-prepared.
That's right. Now we're going to take a deeper look here at the tropics at the wall. I'm going to be out there in just a second. We have all eyes right now on Tropical Depression number 16. It's likely going to become Tropical Storm Nate as we head into the weekend. We're all the way down here to the N name on the list of storms, so we are getting pretty deep into the list. Our current climatology for October does show that storms that typically form over here in the southwestern Caribbean kind of turn towards the north or northeast, and that's exactly what we're going to see with this storm. It's going to be following these patterns exactly how the climatology shows it. So the current storm is a tropical depression, but it's likely going to become Tropical Storm Nate later tonight or early tomorrow morning. And what does that mean? A tropical storm has winds between 39 and 73 miles per hour. It has a little bit of storm surge, maybe 2 to 3 feet. But we're going to be watching that for any other developments too, just to keep an eye on it for you guys. Our Atlantic satellite does show Tropical Depression number 16 down here in the southwestern Caribbean. There's that other low pressure system the National Hurricane Center is giving a 0% chance for development. So we're really not expecting a lot with that, but we're going to be watching this cluster of thunderstorms down here as it starts to develop a deeper area of low pressure. So this is the second system to watch. Again, a 0% chance of development. It's not going to be a big threat for us here, but this one here is going to be Nate sometime tonight or tomorrow, and it's going to be moving northward. Our current landfall system, our current expectation for landfall is somewhere between New Orleans and Tampa. So it's a big range there for where it could be. So we're going to keep watching that as we pinpoint that forecast coming up. Now we're going to take it over to Sydney in the lab.
Thanks, guys. So it does seem like we are having some technical difficulties in the lab, but I was going to expand more on this potential tropical cyclone and this development of what's happening. So currently, the track of this potential tropical cyclone right now, it is a tropical depression, but the track is showing the eye making landfall slightly west of Tallahassee. Now, the uncertainty is as broad, ranging from all the way from Louisiana to parts of North Florida. And this does forecast for the eye, so effects can be seen outside of this cone. Now, it does show landfall 2 p.m. on Sunday, but I do want to say again that it is extremely uncertain and this forecast could definitely change. Now, and it also, I was going to show you guys the uncertainty through spaghetti string models, and that does show that range that I was just explaining within the cone, but these models are separate forecast models. They each show their own run and how they think this tropical depression will form and will make landfall in the United States. Now, another thing I wanted to show was there is that low pressure system just south of Miami, and this pressure system has a 0% chance of formation, but that is important in the fact, here we are. So that is important in the fact that there is not any forecasted interactions with Tropical Depression 16 currently, but they could potentially interact in the future if certain forecast models are correct. Now we are going to take it over to show this. This is a play-by-play of how they believe as of right now, and as I have mentioned, it is super uncertain, but the timing that they believe that this tropical depression will be making its way towards North America. Now, Thursday, it does show 8 a.m. making its way slightly more. Saturday at 8 a.m., that's where things get a little pretty uncertain. This is game day, and we could potentially be seeing impacts of this hurricane Saturday at 8 a.m. And making our way slightly more north, Saturday at 8 p.m., it is saying that things will be have been in our area, and we will be seeing impacts. Now, as for rapid intensification, we don't see that quite happening, but it could intensify quicker than average due to these above average sea surface temperatures. Now, these temperatures are in the mid 80s, and they are fluctuating between the low 80s and the high 80s, and that is just insane when it comes to temperatures, and that is what feeds a tropical depression and essentially what makes things intensify quicker in those circumstances. So basically, tips to be prepared: just have a plan just in case things do get worse. Have a plan on where to go and who to spend your time with. Also, put together a supply kit, and this should include flashlights and, as I said before, non-perishables and other things But I am going to be taking it over to back to the desk with Brantley. And in the meantime, you guys can take a look at these preparedness tips and make sure that you also stock up on water, because I know that there are places that do it by the gallon, which is awesome, because as they sell out of water, getting it by the gallon is the way to go.
That's right. Now we take a different look right now. Take a look at some news going on that's not really weather related, just a quick break from the weather. A city called Stonecrest, Georgia, it's about 45 minutes north of Atlanta, has just announced recently that their city council voted in favor of giving basically 345 acres of land to Amazon. You know, Amazon, the online shopping company, because they're going to be building a second headquarters here in America with bringing about 50,000 jobs to the area, all of which are guaranteed to pay at least $100,000 a year.
Wow, that is awesome. And not to relate things to weather or not, but if places do end up selling out of water, Amazon is an awesome place to get water from.
Especially if you have Prime, you can get it in 2 days.
Yep, it will arrive in 2 days.
Yeah, but now we're going to take a look at other places around Florida with Tyler at the wall. Or with Sydney.
Oh, that is me going out to look at Florida. Now, we are going to take a look around Florida. As you can see, Jacksonville is at 79 degrees, and as we make our way more south, Tampa, Fort Myers, and West Palm are seeing the low 80s, so that is awesome for them. That is some good weather. And Key West down there at 82, and they have a full sun down there in Key West, so they're seeing the sun, and they aren't seeing the fall the way that we are here in North Florida. Now, current dew points, Jacksonville is seeing 70s, so that is the beginning of that oppressive stage for those dew points. Fort Myers, 73, West Palm, 72, and Miami, 75, but South Florida is used to these dew points the way that we were over this summer, and it does look as if their dew points are going to be on the rise due to this low pressure system. As you can see, these juicy upper levels to the east, to the southeast of the peninsula of Florida are going to be showing, bringing that moisture up onto the peninsula and pushing this dry air basically right out of the way. It's going to be bringing it slightly more north, and Tallahassee potentially could see some more dry conditions with that. Now, Jacksonville is seeing 21 mile-per-hour winds, and that's really high for an area like that. But as we make our way south, Fort Myers is also seeing 20-mile-an-hour winds, and Tallahassee 14 miles per hour. So those winds are ramping up for most of Florida, and all you can really see on this radar is down off of the coast, that low pressure system, and it is bringing some cloud cover and some moisture onto the peninsula of Florida. Orlando seeing specifically some spotty showers, along with the areas between West Palm Beach and Miami also seeing those showers. Now, looking into the future, we are going to notice the South Florida does get basically engulfed in this rain, and then it kind of spreads out, and Orlando is going to be the last place to be seeing this rain. And look at that little band making its way up towards Tallahassee, so Tallahassee could be seeing the rain in the near future. Now, as for tonight, Tallahassee getting down to 66, along with Pensacola and Jacksonville sitting in the high 60s as well. And as we make our way more south, Orlando 71 and West Palm Beach 81 at night. Wow, stay inside in that air conditioning, because they're not seeing much relief from those highs today. Now, Thursday forecast, Pensacola is seeing the sunny day and those sunny skies, and as we make our way more south, it does seem like there is going to be rain and thunder in their near future. Now, we are going to be taking it over to Tyler with a look closer to Tallahassee.
It's on.
It's back on.
It's on.
As Sydney was talking to you about, there could be some rain in Tallahassee, but you wouldn't know it looking outside right now. Partly cloudy skies today, 86 degrees is the current temperature, with a low dew point at 62 degrees, yielding a low humidity as well. And it's been pretty breezy as well. So even though these temperatures represent about 5 degrees above the average, still doesn't feel that bad outside. Mid-80s across all of North Florida and South Georgia. The dew points are generally in the 60s, which aren't extremely comfortable, but they're not oppressive. In fact, I'm jealous of you in Mariana, where you do have an upper 50 dew point, 59 degrees, which does barely fall under the comfortable range, but much of the rest of the region, moderate, and that means your hair's not going to like poof up if you go outside for more than like 5 minutes. We had the northeasterly wind from that tropical wave all the way south near the Florida Straits. And what that's going to mean is as it gets closer to us, these winds are likely to increase, as well as our rain chances. But again, as we look through today, just basically a couple of high fair weather clouds, rather, and that will not change through tonight. However, if we look to the East Coast, this is what we call a coastal flood warning for the Jacksonville region. They had what we call a nor'easter. That's an onshore wind piling up water, kind of like a miniature tropical storm. Those northeasterly winds will continue here as we cool off overnight, as we normally do. It won't really be that cold. Our average low is 62, but temperatures tomorrow will once again be very warm with that northeasterly wind pumping in dry air off the land, which will allow temperatures to heat up. For tonight, about 5 degrees above the average, partly cloudy. About lows around 65 to 70 degrees at the coast, where there's a little bit more moisture. Tomorrow, again, windy with that tropical wave to the south, highs in the mid-80s. For tomorrow and tonight, temperatures will drop off through the 70s. And going into the 7-day forecast, the rain chances will likely increase, but mainly you're going to have to take a watch of Tropical Depression 16, since that is going to be the main governing factor in our weather. Now let's send it back to Cindy and Brantley to wrap it up.
All right, thank you, Tyler. We will keep an eye on that weekend forecast, especially with this tropical system at play. Now, like Cindy was saying in the lab, the latest track from the Hurricane Center does bring what will become Hurricane Nate likely to Panama City by Sunday afternoon. So those rain chances there over the weekend, they could go up, especially Sunday into Monday. We'll keep an eye on that. But there's a lot of uncertainty too.
Yeah, there is so much uncertainty to go along with this cone. I can't stress that enough. And that is why everyone should be prepared and not scared of these types of situations.
Absolutely.
And look at those lows in this week ahead, sticking in the mid-70s throughout the week. Although that rain and that percentage of rain goes up so much, those lows are still in the 70s.
Yeah, and as we keep track of this system moving toward us, we will be having updates frequently on social media. You can check us out on Facebook and Twitter /FSU Weather. You can also watch all of our shows, including this one, on youtube.com/live/FSU Weather.
Yes, so that has been basically it for us. We revamped our Twitter and Facebook, so definitely check out those two sites. And I'm student meteorologist Sydney Welch.
I'm student meteorologist Brantley Kike. Have a nice night. We'll see you again at 11.
Bye.